Hey everybody, welcome back. I am bored. COVID made me bored, and today at the table, I am taking a look and playing Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe. This is a Valiant card game published by, at the time, Overworld Games. I think this was made in 2019. They've recently rebranded themselves as, I believe, Pull the Pin Games. It was, I think the owner or the creator is Brian Henk. And this is based on a comic book series that I have no idea about. I've never heard of this. I don't know what the Valiant Universe is. All I know is that when you're talking about superheroes, you usually think of Marvel, DC. Those are the two big names out there that everyone is familiar with. Valiant Universe is maybe the third biggest. I'm not actually sure. I'm sure there are a lot of Valiant fans out there, and I believe the comic book series has a very strong following, but I've never heard of it. So I don't know anything about these characters. The Valiant team is a set of superheroes, or I guess protagonists, and they're not necessarily like super powered, but they have extra normal abilities that they are. So they're not your typical superheroes that you associate with like a Superman or a Shazam or anything like that, mystical powers. I think a lot of them, or a good majority of them, are just, your Batman kind of people, just athletic, great abilities, intellectual, but not necessarily bestowed super mystic powers like Captain Marvel. So this is a card game that I came across not because I was looking for this game, because I know nothing about Valiant, but mainly because at the time I was just looking at some variety of deck building games. And one of the deck building games that I saw was based on Valiant. And it was the Valiant deck building game. And it had miniatures. It had a very different approach, which is I think you manipulate the resource row or something like that. But overall, the review was not very good, so I passed. But in my search, I found this particular card game, and it's purely card game. It is, I'm going to call it an attribute building game, because there's no deck building, there's no game board to move around, there's no miniatures, it's purely card games. And the premise of this game is based on either a comic book, again, I'm not too familiar, so if you are a Valiant fan, feel free to correct me and comment. But it's based on a web series, live action series of the same name, which I believe is based on a comic book series. And Ninjak is one of the characters. He's this character portrayed right here. And let me see if I can get a closer look at that. And there you go. And he's actually a good guy. He's like the Batman, as I understand it, he's like the Batman 2.0. He's wealthy, he's smart, he's studied ninja or ninjutsu, he knows a variety of martial arts, he is athletic, and on top of that, he is willing to kill, as I understand. So apparently he is a good guy, but for some reason he's been coerced or bribed into doing something bad. And as a result, he's stolen some kind of book, and I'm not sure what that book is, that potentially could lead to destructive power. And it's up to the rest of the Valiant team to take him down. So I've never watched the web series. Again, I don't know too much about it, but that is the premise of this game. So it is the Valiant team made up of several different characters, and I'll go through those characters in a minute. And again, I don't know who they are, but I don't know their backstory. And they are up against Ninjak trying to take them down. So this is, I believe, 1 to 6 players. So one of the appealing factors was sort of a solo-based game that I thought, it looks pretty light, not too complicated. Plays anywhere between 30 to 60 minutes, and the concept and the mechanics very, very straightforward. One of the things I wanted to comment is I did watch an interview with Brian Henk, and Overworld games, or Pull the Pin games now, they're not, it seems like Brian Henk is it's like a hobby of his to create these kind of card games. I think one of the more successful lines of overworld or pull the pin games is called Good Cop, Bad Cop. I've never played it. Apparently, it's one of the strong sellers, but they don't have a ton of games. And he noted that these games aren't, it's not like a Legendary or DC deck building or anything like that. It's not meant to compete with those ones, but it's something light, something easy to pick up, something fun and enjoyable. It's not meant to have, a high level strategic depth, but at the same time, just have a theme or something fun that you can get together and play with people. So there's not a lot of videos on reviews on this particular game, and I don't know, it could be rightly so, I'm not sure, but I thought I'd give it a try. I picked it up and I thought I'd give it a chance just to see what it's like. And again, it is card-based, completely card-driven, and you are basically trying to improve your attributes, and you have 3 attributes, and these attributes will help take down the different tactics or abilities that Ninjak is using against you. On your turn, you have several steps that you follow, and then Ninjak will take his turn to attack your whole team. So each player can play one of the characters of the Valiant Universe, and I'll go through that right now. But first, I'll go through the fact that you've got the player or the enemy board, which is Ninjak. And if you take a close look, I'll try to show you this maybe in a separate photo, but if you take a good look at this, now obviously this is his action board or his villain board, and if you take a look at his picture, Ninjak is sort of crouched down. He has a very disgruntled face look, and he has arrows and ninja stars embedded in his body, and yet he looks like he's not affected at all. So this guy, he looks serious. Each of the this particular villain mat, as well as the player mats, they're double-sided. So you've got comic art from the comic book on one side, and on the other side you do have, I guess, movie stills or web series stills from the actual live-action web series. So I guess it's to sort of appeal to the fans who love the comics and also who have watched the web series and enjoy that too. But I prefer the comic side. I prefer that comic book look. So you've got several sections here. You'll have your villain deck, and there are 3 different levels. And this is basically Ninjak's opportunity to put out his attacks, various attacks of various levels, and possibly defense tactics that he has. You'll be placing that here. You'll have the tactics deck, which is for you. You'll be what you call, I guess, drawing tactic cards, and those improve your attributes. It'll make more sense as I go through it. At all times, there will always be 3 tactics available to you, and that's what you'll be listing on the side here. And there's a spot at the bottom for discards, and any of the active threats would be the, I guess, abilities that Ninjak is tossing against you. So you've got that, and then you've got 6 player boards, and these are all the characters of the Valiant Universe. So I'll go no particular order, but you'll see that this one, Shadow Man, he looks pretty cool. Kind of looks like a combination of Punisher meets Daredevil. And you've got a couple sections here. You've got your health tracker here. One of the things I do want to note that I really don't like is it starts at 30. That's your maximum health that you can get. The one that's highlighted here is your starting health. And you can increase your health. You just can't go past 30. But I kind of wish that the other marks for 30, 25, 15, 10, and 5 were a little bit more noticeable. It's very difficult to tell. The overall quality of the player mat, it's okay. It's a little thin. I mean, you can tell it's not exactly cardboard. It would have been nice if it was thicker cardboard, but it has a sort of a very fine linen finish to it. You'll have sort of your turn phase information, the title of the character, you have your different attributes, and these are the 3 attributes that you will be building as you progress through the game: knowledge, manipulation, and strength. They each have a specific color and specific symbol. You also have a section here which refers to your power. You have a power for your character, which you can't use for yourself, but you can share that with someone, and this is where the cooperative team building aspect takes place, is you can, upon request, lend out your power, or I guess I'll call it an assist another player with a specific ability. So in this case, for Shadow Man, he has the ability to allow another hero to use your manipulation or knowledge instead of their own. And at the bottom, you'll see a section for hidden agenda and defeated threats. Defeated threats are the tactics, or sorry, the Ninjak's active threats that you defeat, that you claim, because at the end of the day, they are worth points. So while you are working together as a team, you ultimately want, just like Legendary and DC, you want to be the player that has the most points. And that will sort of dictate who is the winner or overall winner of the game. Of course, you can all lose if one of you dies by being killed by Ninjak. So, and then of course on the other side you'll see that is actually, that doesn't look like the web series, but that's okay. This is pretty cool. Then you've got Bloodshot, same layout, but you'll notice that compared to Shadow Man, his initial or starting attributes are different. He has strength and manipulation, but no knowledge, whereas Shadow Man has no strength, but manipulation and knowledge. So they each start with at least 2 attributes already on their board. And this is the other side, which, by the way, if that face doesn't look familiar, that's the Green Power Ranger. So he's actually in the web series. I did not know that, and I believe there was a recent movie during COVID with Vin Diesel as Bloodshot with the movie of the same name. So I've never watched it, so maybe that's something I'll watch just to get a little bit of background on this guy. And he has his own power here, which is give another hero strength, manipulation, or knowledge equal to the level of threat they are attacking, which I'll explain as I do a playthrough. We've got Eternal Warrior. That's the comic side. And the live action side. Kind of reminds me of a Thor-looking character. This guy, Bloodshot, reminds me of Deadpool. There's some similarities. Then you've got Livewire. Could be the Captain Marvel. Again, I don't know their abilities, don't know their powers. So this is the live action shot. You've got Armstrong, which is kind of your Hulk, I guess. And one thing I've read about in terms of Valiant, it's a bit more inclusive and diverse in terms of their characters. So you're not going to have the typical Superman or Shazam sort of body physique. You're going to have an inclusive variety of characters who are supposed to be, your average person, but with, enhanced abilities or just special skills that they have. And here is the live action. And then you have Exo Manowar. This is his comic book side, and as well as his live action side. So on your turn, each player is going to take their turn, and on their turn, you'll be drawing a villain card, and then the hero will take their action, which is you can choose one of the 3 options, which is preparing a tactic, which is taking a tactic from the Ninjak board to add to your attribute. And again, this is the attribute building part of it. You can use your attributes if you have enough to defeat one of Ninjak's threats, or you can rest, which allows you to gain 3 health. On the third part of the phase, you will activate Ninjak's threat. So any active threats that are still there, they have a attack value equal to their threat level. So if you have a level 1 threat, it's going to attack you for 1 damage. Level 2, 2 damage. Level 3, 3 damage. And your 4th and final part of the turn is to retrieve your power token if you lent it out to someone. At any time during your turn, you can ask to borrow a helping hand and get an assist from another player and borrow their power. And that's the spot here. Powers are represented by these character tokens. So for example, Livewire, she has sort of a picture of herself, and on the back it sort of has an explanation of her power. And if Exo Manowar were to borrow her power, he would just place that on this section, and his would be here, which we can put. And if he wanted to lend this out, he can give it to someone. And at any time, they can hold on to it for as long as you want, but during your turn, you can retrieve your power token back if you choose to, so that you can lend it out to another player. Now, most of these powers, through the few plays that I've done, are quite helpful. But there's another part of this game which is called artifacts, which you can sort of boost. But before I get to that, I want to talk about the tactics. So the tactics are what will be sitting on the tactics deck, and you'll be putting out 3 tactics at any given time. And the tactics cards, there's nothing special to them. They are basically your attributes. So here, green is manipulation. So it just has some flavor text, and it has, I'm not exactly sure what this is called. I think this is called this is just another attribute. So there's love, answers, justice, and honor. And during your turn, you'll be choosing, if you choose to, if you're not attacking and if you're not healing, you'll be improving your attributes by pulling one of these from the available tactics that are there. And as you do that, you will add it to your character and build upon it, keeping in mind the, I guess, I'm not sure what to call this. It's in the rule book, which, by the way, is a pretty decent rule book. They've got the hero mat, the threat, and where are the tactic cards? Tactic symbols. So tactic symbols. So we'll just call those tactic symbols because that's what I believe they're referring it to. And those tactic symbols can help you in 2 different ways. One, getting artifacts, which are sort of power-ups or special tools that you can use, and as well as they matter in terms of your hidden agenda, which I'll also explain. So just going back to the tactics. So these will be a stack of tactics on the deck, on the villain board that you'll be drawing, and you'll be wanting to improve. You'll notice that there's a top number here regarding the setup, which is sort of the number of players. So in this case, for example, if I were doing a 2-player game, I only want the tactics that have 1 to 2. So you'll see from here, I have 1, 1, 2, 2, 2. And you would remove anything that's not 1 or 2 players. If you're playing 5 players, you include everything up to the 5 value here. And the reason why they have this is simply for distribution, is to make sure that there's enough strength, manipulation, knowledge distribution given the number of players. There's no other ability on these cards. They are purely just flavor text and comic book illustrations. And what matters the most is the tactic symbol as well as the actual attribute that you are improving. So the artifacts, again, are sort of power-ups that you can obtain. So in this situation, this is the Tachyon Compass. On your turn, you may view the top card of the current villain deck, then choose whether to put it on the top or bottom of the deck. Now, in order to obtain this artifact, and you can only have 1 artifact at a time. So it doesn't mean you claim 1 and you can't claim any more. It means if you were to claim another one, you have to return the one that you already have. You'll see that in order to claim this artifact, you need to have 3 attributes that have the tactic symbol of answers. So if Exo Manowar had, say, a strength with answers and manipulation with the symbol answers and knowledge with the symbol answers, at any point in time, he can claim this and place it on his mat, and he is able to use this once during his turn, or whatever the ability allows him to do. So there's something here called Medbot, which is when you take a rest action, all other heroes gain 2 health. Seems kind of useful. But it requires 3 love tactic symbols. And you have the Vita Secunda scroll, whatever that is. And it says after you take the attack villain action, choose a hero other than you to perform a attack villain action. And it requires 3 justice and an honor. This one, Power Generator, requires 3 honor and love. This is Armstrong Satchel, which requires answer and justice. And we're back to attacking. So there are a total of 5. So even though it's up to 6 players, there's only up to 5. So it's supposed to be cooperative, so maybe your team plans ahead of time. When it comes down to the character, and you each are given a hidden agenda. A hidden agenda is, at the end of the day, you're working as a team, but ultimately you want to be the best team member who did the most damage. So you would have a hidden agenda card. And the hidden agenda card, only you know, you don't reveal this to your other team members, will tell you which tactic symbols you need to earn additional points. So at the end of the game, if you've defeated Ninjak, you'll have all your defeated threats on this side. And you will each defeated threat is worth 1 point. And then based on your hidden agenda, so for example, if you have tactic symbols love and honor, you get 3 points for every pair of love and honor symbols that you have. Unique symbols, I guess, if you want to call it that. A unique pairing. So this one is you seek training, which is answers in honor. You get 3 points. Answers in justice, love and justice, honor and justice, answers in love. So those are the 6 different hidden agendas that each character would take, and that would sort of dictate maybe the kind of attributes you want to be collecting without letting your other team members know. When it comes to Ninjak and his villain deck, there are 3 levels. You've got level 1, level 2, and level 3. And these are basically a variety of tactics that he's using, or attacks that he's using. So for example, Trick. Trick is sort of has a few different information, which is the ability or the attack that Ninjak is using. It also has that same symbol in terms of the number of players. So if in this case, if I'm playing with 1 or more players, I would include this in the villain deck. And if I were to do, say, 5 or more players, I would include this one. So here you'll see that there's a couple pieces of information. You'll have how much damage this threat does if it's still on the active threat section of Ninjak's board. You also have the required amount of attributes in order to defeat this particular threat. So you would need 1 strength and 1 knowledge, at least, to defeat it. If you defeat it, it would go on your character's board, and you'll notice that the threat also has a tactic symbol, right? Sorry, right there, if you guys can see it. So that helps you when it comes time to claiming the extra bonus for your hidden agendas. Ninjak also has defense cards. So when this is drawn, it goes into his defense area, and it usually is a perpetual, ongoing, I guess, a hindrance that prevents you from doing something or makes it more difficult. In this situation, his battle mask is the strength requirement on threats is doubled, so that makes it harder when you're trying to defeat his threats. Now, every so often, you will also get a recharge. Recharge, while it is in the villain deck, is actually a bonus and helpful for your team. And this allows you to recharge. And this one is all heroes gain 1 health. But you'll notice that I can only include this in my villain deck if I'm playing with 3 or more players. So I think one of the comments of the few amount of information that's on the internet is that this is a really easy game. And Brian head on just said it's not meant to be like deathly challenging. It's just meant to be fun, interactive, and just something to enjoy. So definitely one of the things you can do is remove these recharge cards from the villain deck, and that would make things a lot tougher. So far, I find that when you include all the recharge cards in the deck, it's not too bad. You actually do, it is a pretty easy win. If you reduce it, it does make it more challenging, and you'll see why. There's something about the game flow that I feel could use a little bit more fine-tuning, but I'm going to play it as right down to the rules, and then you can see what it's like. So for the level 2, you'll see that it has 2 damage. So this will, if it activates during the threat activation step, it will do you 2 damage if it is on the board. So these can stack, so you could potentially have a lot of damage. And when you're talking about only a starting health of 20, that could make it very challenging. But you'll notice that in order to defeat this ignite threat, I need to have 2 knowledge, 2 manipulation, and 2 strength in order to defeat this threat. And if he had a defense card out there that doubles the amount of strength, that means that it would be 4 strength. So you can see that with his defenses, it does make things more challenging. And there's also more recharges available depending on the player count. And as you would expect, level 3 is exactly that. So it does 3 damage, and it requires 3 of these various attributes in order to defeat it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick setup. I'm playing 2 players, and I'll go through that, the process on how to play, and you can judge for yourself if the flow of the game could use some fine tuning, but it gives you an idea what this game is like. So I will be back with a setup and continue this Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe. Okay, so I've got my table set up for a game of Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe. I've decided to go with Bloodshot and Exo Manowar. I actually am looking at that right now, and I kind of wish I chose maybe Shadow Man instead, only because both Bloodshot and Exo Manowar have the same starting attributes, so they both have no knowledge. So in my mind, I feel like there'd be a nice balance if I had someone with manipulation and knowledge and someone else with strength and manipulation as the starter. That helps sort of make sure that there's a sort of a good chance that one of us will be able to take on threats that have knowledge, but that's okay. One of the things I want to note is, in terms of card quality, the card quality again is very similar to the player board. It's not bad. I mean, it's not legendary or DC deck building quality, but that does have a sort of a very thin, fine linen finish to it. Well, I already know what that is, so I'm going to shuffle this because I don't want the defense up there, but that's okay. And I've already laid out my initial tactics, which is the 3 tactics on the board. The other thing I want to note is, in terms of tracking your health, it has this little clip that you put on the side of the board, and it's kind of tight, and I'm a little hesitant to squish it all the way in because I think it'll damage the edge of the player mat, so I just kind of bend it open and just slide it in so slightly. I really hate this way of tracking health, but if it's a game I really enjoy, then maybe I'll get some kind of health tracker of some other health tracker. I've randomly given my 2 characters a hidden agenda. I don't know what it looks like. It'll be sort of luck of the draw in terms of adding points up at the end of the day. When you're playing solo, you can choose to play as 1 character, or you can choose to play as 2 characters and not use the hidden agenda. But in this case, I'm going to play as if I'm 2 separate people playing, and they each have a hidden agenda, just so that you can see what it looks like when you tally up the points. Because when you play solo, it's not about the points, it's all about surviving and hopefully defeating Ninjak. So I've got the respective power tokens that I can share with my teammate, and I also have on the top over here the available artifacts that I can claim if I have the proper tactic symbols available to me. So we're going to start with Bloodshot, and it actually would be nice if I had a token to keep track of their turn so I don't forget. So I'm just going to use this just a little chit that I have. And we're ready to go. So at the beginning of your turn, Bloodshot's going to go first. He's going to draw a villain threat card. So that would be here. So start from level 1 and you'll clear level 1 first, then level 2, level 3. You'll progress in that manner. So, well, lucky me, the first thing is a hologram belt. And this hologram belt says the knowledge requirement on threats is doubled. So what really sucks is I have no knowledge on my characters. So maybe I might focus on that. So as of right now, there are no active threats that will attack me. So when a defense card comes up or a recharge comes up, that's typically an opportunity for you to take a breather. You're not attacked. You can focus on either resting or you can pull an attribute. And I think in this case, I'm going to pull an attribute. I'm going to pull a knowledge attribute. And this knowledge attribute just has the flavor text break down a door. And it has the tactic symbol of justice. So I'm going to take that. So that completes my action. We would replenish the available tactics. And one thing I want to note, there is just like dice rolling and just like any other card game with your card draws. In this situation, it really depends what draw you have with the available tactics. Because if I needed knowledge and I don't have knowledge to pull from, I'm kind of not in a good position. So because there's no active threats to activate and I haven't shared my power, it now moves on to Exo Manowar's turn, and he will draw a threat. And we have a strike. This strike requires 1 strength, 1 manipulation, which he does have, and it does 1 damage if it gets activated. So for him, he's going to go ahead and I think he'll just attack this card because he has enough attributes. But let me see, is it knowledge? Yeah, and there's no knowledge, so he's going to take that. So it goes on to the bottom of his player mat with defeated threats. And that ends his action. There are no active threats to activate, and he didn't borrow a power, so it becomes Bloodshot's turn. So it's very quick, back and forth. There's not a lot of deep decision making. So we're going to activate. Oh, it's another defense. If you pull out another defense, it just replaces the current defense. The strength requirement on threats is doubled. So I think, just before I move forward, just to let you know, Bloodshot's power, or his assist ability, is to give another hero strength, manipulation, or knowledge equal to the level of the threat they are attacking. So for example, if you're attacking a level 1 threat, you get +1 of one of those stats, not all of them, just one of them. So, and then Exo Manowar has allow another hero to add your strength to their strength. So maybe it might be a good idea. Maybe we'll have Exo Manowar focus on his strength. But it's Bloodshot's turn, so he's not going to do that. So what we'll do is we'll rest. We're going to rest. We're going to take this opportunity to rest. And by resting, I move 1, 2, 3. I move my slider up to 23. And there are no active threats to activate. So it's Exo Manowar. And we have Trick. So with Trick, strength is doubled, which means it's 2, and requires 1 knowledge. He doesn't have knowledge either. So this is kind of a problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and have Exo Manowar improve his strength. And there we go. And now it goes to the activation, which is 1 damage to all players. So he's down to, Exo Manowar is down to 19, and Bloodshot is down to 22. And this active threat stays here because it was not dealt with, and it becomes Bloodshot's turn. So we draw 1 from the villain deck. This is Pierce, also for 1 damage, requires 2 strength, 1 manipulation, and 1 knowledge. So at this moment right now, Bloodshot can say, hey, Exo Manowar, can you give me an assist here? And can I borrow your power? So I want to add Exo Manowar's strength, which is 2, to my own, which is 3, and now I have enough to defeat one of these. I can't defeat both. I choose this one. So I'm going to defeat this one. And that's his action. It's not an action to ask or borrow another hero's power. So once that's done, we activate the threats. Every player takes 1 damage. And now it is Exo Manowar's turn. And we draw the next villain card. And it is a throw. So this one has manipulation and knowledge. So here we go. Exo Manowar says, hey, Bloodshot, can I borrow your power? And which is give another hero strength, manipulation, or knowledge. In this case, I want knowledge equal to the level of the threat that they're attacking. So I've borrowed his power. And now I have 1 knowledge because of Bloodshot's assist. And I have manipulation, so I'm going to take and defeat that. So you have to be mindful of building your attributes while managing the threats, because you will be attacked. You can't just keep on doing attacks, because the moment you move to level 2, you will not have enough attributes to take those on. So there is sort of that fine and maybe strategic balance of doing that. So at the end of Exo Manowar's turn, he can say, hey, can I have my power back? But because I'm only playing 2 players, they're welcome to keep it. If I was playing 3 or 4 players, you might want to move them around and help out other people depending on what you need. So we each take 1 hit. So Bloodshot down to 20, and Exo Manowar is down to 17. And it is now Bloodshot's turn, and we're pulling from the villain deck here. We get a recharge, so all the heroes gain 2 health. So Bloodshot gets 22, Exo Manowar is to 19, and that goes in the discard. So this is kind of a breather. Nothing happens. Bloodshot can build his ability, or he might be able to attack now that he has Exo Manowar's strength. So that might be worthwhile to do, but I feel like I want to improve some of my attributes. So I'm going to take this one. So I have Justice and Honor, and we'll flip that out. And now we each lose 1 health. There we go. So now it's Exo Manowar's turn. It is Surprise. Now you'll notice this is 2 damage. So now I have a total of 3 damage if these active threats are activated. And strength is doubled, which means I need 4. So as of right now, Exo Manowar can... I think he'll just try. We'll take this one out. Because he has his strength and he has the knowledge because of Bloodshot's assist. And he takes that one out. And now they each take 2 hits. 1, 2. And now it becomes Bloodshot's turn. Okay, so a new defense. Shock Stars. The manipulation required on threats is doubled. So fortunately, this one doesn't have any manipulation. So he doesn't have enough knowledge to defeat this. But with Exo Manowar, he can borrow his strength. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take this attribute to build on knowledge. So hopefully my next turn I'll be able to do something. And let's see. Love and justice. No, I need justice and answers. Maybe I'll do that next time. Okay, so we each take 2. 1, 2. And down to 14 for Exo Manowar and 17 for Bloodshot. Now it's Exo Manowar's turn. And we draw a villain. Ah, recharge. Oops. There goes my camera. Sorry about that, guys. And we get to recharge 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. And now Exo Manowar can actually defeat this threat. He has 2 strength, there's no manipulation, and he has 2 knowledge because of Bloodshot's assist. So I think we'll do that. I think we'll take this one out. So now nothing to activate. It goes back to Bloodshot's turn. Oh, look at that. We get another recharge. So we're slowly climbing our way back to our health, and this gives Bloodshot an opportunity to either rest or build on his tactic, and I think, or his attributes, and I think he will take this one, which is answers. So now that I've taken this, I have 3 knowledge, and I have the 2 tactic symbols that I need, justice and answers, to claim this artifact, which is Armstrong's Satchel. When you take the attack villain action, choose any hero to gain 3 health. That could be useful. So I can claim that. It doesn't count as an action, and I have that now. Now there are no active threats, so it becomes Exo Manowar's turn, and we draw a villain card. Oh, a new defense. This is infrared lenses. At the start of each hero's turn, before drawing a villain card, they must give one of their prepared tactics to another hero. So in this situation, because I'm only playing with 2 players, I'm going to, well, actually I don't. I need to swap at this. But it's not the start of Exo Manowar's turn because that came afterwards. So we don't have to do that. But on Bloodshot, we will have to. So we're going to make this really simple. I forgot to flip that over. What we'll do is we will pull a manipulation and improve his manipulation so that, just for the sake of, I really don't understand that defense. I don't know why it matters, but in this situation between Bloodshot and Exo Manowar, they will just exchange the 1 manipulation card they have. So that way I don't have to keep on tossing cards back and forth. It just keeps the gameplay simple. So no active threats to activate. It becomes Bloodshot's turn. Oh, we have a recharge. So we recharge. 1, 2. So Bloodshot's at 23. And Exo Manowar is back at 20. So you can see having these recharges can potentially help. And now Bloodshot gets to do something. I think what he'll do is he will... Let's go with this one. We're going to improve our manipulation attribute. And that's it. Becomes Exo Manowar's turn. Okay, we've got Hook. Hook requires 2 manipulation, but because... Oh no, actually it's not doubled. So 2 manipulation, 2 knowledge. He has 2 manipulation. Because of Bloodshot's assist ability or power, he actually has 2 knowledge. So he can actually take that out if he wants to. And I think he will. He'll take that one out. No threats to activate. It comes back to Bloodshot's turn. We draw Ignite, and that requires 2 strength, 2 manipulation, and 2 knowledge. Because he's borrowed Exo Manowwar's power, he actually has 3 strength, so that's enough for him to take out. So he's going to take that one out. And now it becomes Exo Manowwar's turn. We have Dash, which is 2 strength and 2 manipulation. He does have that, so he will take that out. This is actually going a lot better than my usual runs. So it's going to go back to Bloodshot's turn. So now we are at level 3. Oh, we get a recharge. So we gain 3 health. 1, 2, 3. And this goes to 23. And now Bloodshot has an option to just chill. He can regenerate if he wants to. I think I forgot. I'm not sure if when I took this one out, I should have given someone a bonus of 3 health because of my artifact, but that's okay. We're doing pretty good. Let's go with strength. We're going to take this strength. And now it is Exo Manowwar's turn. Okay, we've got Hurricane, 3 damage and 3 manipulation and 3 knowledge. So he has the knowledge, but he does not have enough manipulation. So right now what we'll do is we will improve our manipulation. We have what? Yes, we'll improve Justice, Justice, Honor. No, maybe I'll take this one. I'm taking this manipulation because I want the tactic symbol of justice, because I'm hoping to get the Vita Secunda scroll. So now we get 3 damage. So 1, 2, 3, he's down to 20. And 1, 2, and 3 down to 23. So it is Bloodshot's turn. We have a new tactic, a new defense. Artifacts may not be used and have no effect. So that kind of sucks. So that means this is unusable. So I'm just going to turn it over so I remind myself that I can't use it. But now I can actually attack Hurricane. I can take this threat out. And now it becomes Exo Manowwar's turn. Oh, we have another defense. Only the most recently revealed threat may be attacked by heroes. This is his bulletproof armor. Okay, so now I can use my artifact again. We've got an opportunity here to sort of breathe, but we don't need to. So let's go ahead and let's go for Justice, Justice, and Answers. If I have, well, we'll improve our knowledge. No, we don't want to, because we want to gain. Okay, sure. We'll gain some knowledge here for Exo Manowar. Just move this out of the way. Okay. And we'll refill. No active threats. It goes to Bloodshot's turn. We have a Finish, which is 3 strength and 3 knowledge. So because of Exo Manowar's assist ability, I do have a total of 4 strength and 3 knowledge, so I can actually take that one out. No active threats. Oh, we get a recharge. So 1, 2, and 3. He's at 26 and 23 for Exo Manowar. And Exo Manowar, again, has an opportunity to rest, or he can build on one of his attributes, and I think he'll continue Justice, Justice, Love. No, maybe just one. We'll just build on our manipulation, just in case. Okay, and now we have Bloodshot's turn. We've got Berserk, which takes 3 strength and 3 manipulation. He has that, so he's going to take this out. And it becomes Exo Manowar. Oh, we have a recharge. 1, 2, 3. So Bloodshot's at 29. 1, 2, 3. And Exo Manowar is at 26. And again, he's on a sort of that dead turn where he can't attack a villain. So he's going to gain some strength here. He's going to gain strength. We have, what do we have? Do we have anything for an artifact for him? We have 3 honors? No. Justice, Justice, and Answers. Answers, Answers. Maybe one more Answers, and I can get the Tachyon Compass, which doesn't really mean much to me. So, Bloodshot's turn. We've got Frenzy, 3 knowledge, 3 manipulation, and 3 strength. With Exo Manowar's ability, he has 5 strength, so he can actually take this out. But I think what we'll do is, you know, hey, Bloodshot, let me have one, okay? No, he'll take it out. So he takes this out, and when he does that, he can use his artifact. I think I missed on the last turn, and we'll go ahead and give Exo Manowar 1, 2, 3 additional health. And that ends the turn, and now we've got a recharge. Okay, so we don't need to really recharge. That was the last one. We've won. So we've survived all the threats that Ninjak was throwing at us, and we managed to stay alive and with a incredible amount of health, probably the best I've ever done in this run. Again, I feel like there is a bit of luck in the draw, but you could easily remove some of these recharges. I think level 2, level 3 have way too many recharges in there for a 2-player game. And now we tally up the points. So we're going to take a look at Bloodshot. And he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 threats that he defeated. So that's 6. And his hidden agenda was you seek protection. So you get 3 points for every pair of love and honor. So first we'll take a look at his attributes. Love and honor. We do have one. Love and honor. 1 pair here. So that's 3 points. So that's 9. We have a love and honor. That's 12. And that's it. So he has a total of 12 points. Exo Manowar has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He also has 6 threats that he defeated. And his secret agenda is you seek companionship. Oh, he wants to be hugged. And you get 3 points for every pair of answers and love. He has 1, so that's 9. He has another answers there. 9, 12. Love and answers, 15. So he has 15. So he has beat Bloodshot, and he is the winner, ultimate winner of this game. While they did collectively work together as a team to bring down Ninjak, Exo Manowar was just a little bit better, had the edge. So there you go. That is Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe. And my overall thoughts for this game, it's very simple. It is not complicated at all. It is like a very basic concept of deck building. You are attribute building, and you are weighing your decisions in terms of, do you want to take an attribute at the cost of potentially taking damage, or do you want to rest to mitigate some of the damage you're going to take, or do you want to, if there's no active threats, you want to just heal yourself a bit just in case the next card that comes out, you might have to take some damage. Do you want to share your power, or do you need to borrow someone's power? Which, based on your hidden agenda, which tactic cards do you want to take that have the appropriate tactic symbols so that you can gain more points? And maybe you're keeping an eye on one of these artifacts that you want. So you want to also build on those tactic symbols so that you can gain, as quickly as possible, gain the artifact that you need. And it could be at the sacrifice of attacking a threat. So I wouldn't say there's a lot of difficult decisions. It's just a matter of balancing the different options that you have and there's always a consequence. If you're not going to attack a threat, it's going to attack you. If you want to take improve your attributes and there's an active threat, you're going to have to take a hit. Or you may want to recharge yourself, and unfortunately, if there's an active threat, you might have sort of negated the damage, but your rest of your team takes damage. One of the things I do have a problem with is, especially with more players, and I've tried this at a 4-player count, not with 4 players, but me as 4 players. And with each turn, the tactics or the active threats will attack everyone. And when that happens, it can easily bring down everyone's health very quickly. And again, it all depends on your villain deck as you're drawing it. If you just so happen to draw the right number of recharges in a row, that will really help. Prepare yourself for the active threats that are coming up, and it gives you that sort of breather to pull some extra attributes. I'm not sure if changing the turn order or the phase would help. I think that if and you're also limited to 1 action, which kind of makes it really challenging, but I understand why. I also think that when it comes to the threats, having a threat do 3 damage, it's already beefed up. You need at least 3 of the attributes in order to defeat the card. I feel like that already is the challenge. And if you had like two level 3 threats and maybe a level 2 threat, right there, that's 8 damage. And if you start with 20 health, or maybe you get to 26 or 30, 3 rounds and you're practically dead if you're unable to mitigate these threats. So this actually played out quite well for me. In my previous gameplays with more than 2, even with two characters, it's a close call. And I've done it where I have removed a few recharges. And in fact, what I do is the most recharges per level, threat level, or villain deck level, would be 1 per character that's playing. So in this case, I would have a maximum of 2 recharges in the level 2 villain deck and a maximum of 2 recharges in the level 3 villain deck. That seems to make it a bit more challenging in the sense that by the time I manage to defeat Ninjak, I'm usually at maybe 3 health, and it's close. And that could easily come down to the artifact that I have, and if it's helpful, or if I take the right number of rests to heal myself, or if I have the right player and I borrow their power to help me overcome some of the deficiencies in my attributes. So that, in a nutshell, is the game. And if you're a Ninjak, well, if you're a Ninjak fan, this is great. If you're a Valiant Universe fan, of the few games that are based on Valiant Universe, this might be something that you want to pick up because you're a fan of it. I buy Marvel games because I love Marvel. So there's a bit of, even if the game is not, fantastic, I'll still get it because I like the theme. And most of the games I've been getting is very theme heavy, and those are the ones I prefer. So I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed this playthrough of Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe, a game by Pull the Pin Games, and it is a easygoing attribute building game, cooperative, that I would say has a moderate amount of fun to it. And you can definitely scale the difficulty, but I certainly think that as a solo game, or even playing two-handed, or 2 players, 2 characters, it's pretty enjoyable. So thanks for watching, and until next time, stay bored.